So this was an article from Fandom Wire in their review of episode 4. What makes Galadriel's sacrifice so inspiring? So yeah, spoilers obviously, but I don't think you'll care. This stood out to me. In Fandom Wire's review, the episode starts out, they're going on a journey to Eregion, I guess. They're finally going to investigate the missing messengers that mysteriously were killed. They're not going on horseback for plot reasons. So now they need to take their time getting there when it's most urgent. So not going on horseback. We're just going to walk there. And Elrond is put in charge of the mission. And Galadriel doesn't like that because she's the commander and she's just giving Elrond hell for it the whole time. So cringe, the depiction of this character, of Galadriel. Anyway, so the whole episode, Elrond and Galadriel are sniping at each other because he doesn't trust her because she has the ring on Nenya. It's tainted by Sauron. It's part of his plan, and that's how the show's depicting it. So I think he's perfectly in the right to justify this concern. But they don't trust you to lead the mission, but they do trust you enough to have a ring of power, even after you hid Sauron's identity from everyone and showed a severe lack of judgment. But whatever, she's gonna complain because she's not in charge of the mission, and she's gonna keep sniping at Elrond for not trusting her, justifiably. Anyway, so because of this sniping, Fandom Wire's comments on this. However, Elrond chooses expediency over safety. The friction between them is turning into a deeper fire. By that, I mean romance. At some point, Galadriel asks Elrond to make her promise that defeating Sauron is more important than her own life and to sacrifice her if need be. The friction between them is turning into a deeper fire. The fact that anyone can even get this from this episode, that they have a thing, makes me want to vomit. Can y'all just take it easy with the shipping, please? Do you even know? They don't. Okay, they don't know. They don't know that Elrond marries Galadriel's daughter. Otherwise, maybe they wouldn't say something so ew. So cringe. And the fact that even someone could get this. I didn't get it. Honestly, I didn't interpret it that way. It literally just seemed like Galadriel just came across as being upset because they didn't trust her and she's not in charge of the mission. So she keeps undermining Elrond and making little snide comments about it. But they are entirely within their rights to distrust her, yes, or not to trust her to lead this mission because she is tainted. She even said, I don't trust myself because of Sauron and the cosmic connection that they have. And you also demonstrated that. You hid the truth. The only reason, Celebrimbor is in trouble right now is because of Galadriel. It's because of you. You didn't tell him Halbrand's identity when he was there, and you just let him walk out the door like nothing. After you've been hunting Sauron for thousands of years, unbeknownst to her, he was a little pile of goo flopping down a mountainside. But regardless, I mean, you've been hunting for this dude for forever, for a good long while, and you're not going to tell him. So yeah, you showed a severe lack of judgment, but they entrusted you enough with a ring of power. But because you're not in charge, you're going to make a big stink about it. It's really such a horrible depiction of Galadriel, and Elrond seems fine. He's the one showing any sense, obviously, but because the mission, as it unfolds, because he didn't listen to Galadriel, an elf dies, and now the audience is supposed to come to the conclusion that, oh, you should listen to Galadriel. I didn't come to that conclusion, but I don't know, some might. Elrond seems to be the only one demonstrating sense. It's just, the problem is Galadriel should be wiser. She is older and wiser, and it's really such a bastardization of this character. It's such a horrible thing to witness. Did not see romance in that scene. My point is that people are getting this, and while I didn't see it in this particular scene, there was definitely shipping going on. So when you go to the Harfoot story, we're introduced to the stores, and there's this thing with Poppy and one of the store hobbits that they come upon. He introduced himself as nobody, and they have this moment where Nori's kind of the third wheel, and Nobody and Poppy were making googly eyes at each other. They were having this big long moment of them just staring at each other, smiling all goofily. And so there's no question about that. They're definitely sowing the seeds of that. Harfoots and stores are the filthy hobbits nobody wanted a story about. And they're also with Isildur and a random woman he found while walking around and lost. And apparently she had ties to the wild men or something that devoted themselves to Adar. But there's so many moments of him just googly eyes at Estrad. And while she says that she's betrothed to somebody, so it's just so One Tree Hill. It's so One Tree Hill. And at the end of the episode, they captured the men, the wild men, which I guess is what Estrad's people were or something. The Ents captured them because they burned down the forest or chopped down the forest. or they're held responsible. I think the orcs might have done it, but either way, they're captured. Isildur goes in to try to kiss Estrid, and then oh and behold, look, her betrothed came out of nowhere, and now she's with him, and it's like, oh, this is so Dawson's Creek. It's so Dawson's Creek. I can't. I did see the Estrid Isildur and the Poppy store shipping. It is getting cheesy. It's going way too far when Galadriel and Elrond, like, people are shipping them. Seeing an Entwife was kind of cool. Yeah, I will grant you that. The Entwife was cool. There would be some things I would change about it. I think that they could have spent more time paving the way for their introduction. It seemed a little bit rushed, I guess. Well, and then once they were introduced, it seemed a bit rushed. We didn't spend a whole lot of time with them. Arondir apologized for cutting down a tree because I guess in season 1, I think he cut down a tree. And when the Entwife asked him about that, did you ever put sword to wood or something, how she words it? And he says, unfortunately, yes. And she was not happy about it. I thought the way that she looked, though, was great. The other Ent, I guess just the regular Ent, I didn't like the way his, what would be his face. I thought that looked a little odd to me. They definitely put more work into the Entwife, and I thought she looked great. I just wish that this was more than just references. Because I feel like it was kind of underwhelming. Are we going to see the Entwives again? Was that it? And this is the kind of similar issue I have with Tom Bombadil. I feel like you didn't really earn that, the significance of the moment, you know? Like, they didn't earn the significance of her appearance at the Entwife. The same thing with Tom Bombadil. I just think that they could have done more to do that. Instead of spending so much time with the shipping between Isildur and Estrid, you could kind of, like, focus more on Isildur and Arondir and maybe, like, what's happening around them when it comes to the orcs ravaging the forest. Focus on that more. No one cares about the shipping. No one cares about Estrid. So stop it. People actually do like Arondir, so I think they should have spent more time with Isildur and Arondir. That's fine. You've already introduced these characters. We don't need yet another character that no one really cares about, that you haven't done the work to introduce. Well, I've never seen Dawson's Creek, yet somehow I get the reference. Yeah. You know, just like the, what is it called? Like the love triangle, I guess. One Tree Hill is another thing like that. Yeah, I know.